Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zolo. Finally back after, I don't know, Josh said 5 weeks in the pre-show. It didn't feel right, but at the same time, I probably believe him. It's been a minute since we have all been on this screen all together, and joining us for the first time ever, we have a lovely guest that I don't exactly want to spoil right now. I know it's been on the previews and the teasers and stuff like that, but I don't want to spoil yet. I wanted to splash on screen. We have the Jaguars, we got the Giants, we have the Cowboys tonight getting into the playoff teams for our A Look Inside series. Plenty of heavy hitters on both sides of the football for both of these teams. It is going to be presumably a good season for all of them lying ahead. Let's get into it. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zolo. I would say as always, but at this point it has not been as always. So for the first time in forever, Josh and Ryan joining myself back on here. And for legitimately the first time ever on No Pun Intended, host of Rush Hour, Miss Nikki, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Great. You look way better than all of us.
Oh, okay. Well, it is really humid and I don't know what's going on here today. So thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Where are you at?
Jersey.
I'm up in Albany, and yes, the humidity is absolutely terrible.
Hey, try living in Florida. I don't want to hear it. Okay, we're at humidity epicenter down here. It's freaking ridiculous.
There you go, folks. First weather report of the season.
Hot and humid everywhere, and bad for hair.
Yeah.
Right on time, July 19th. Just in time for rookies to report.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. As mentioned, we have Josh, you didn't update the top here because it says next three teams are the Chargers, Ravens, and Vikings, and that is
all right.
Oh, son of a bitch.
He really wanted to hear our take on last week's show
exactly.
Yeah, right. Since none of you guys bothered to show up.
We have the Jags.
Solo?
No,
I brought on some friends.
Yeah, he would never do that.
He couldn't. He literally
nobody on planet Earth and any surrounding planets would ever want to see me talk for an hour straight by myself. I promise you that.
Yeah, that is true. We'll start with the Jaguars, move on to Nikki's Giants, and then end with Josh and Nikki's favorite, Dallas Cowboys. Actually, America's favorite. Sorry, it's America's team.
Obviously.
America's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Makes me
but
sick.
Boys.
Starting with the kiddies from down south, the Jaguars, 12-4. Feels weird to say that for a Jaguars team. 12-4.
Feels inaccurate, too, because they certainly would have played 17 games.
Yeah, I don't know why that's 12-4.
Damn it, man! I'm just full of typos today. Son of a bitch.
I was gonna say because it's weird how the Jaguars
busy ass week. All right, I don't want to hear it.
Jaguars went 12-4, but the Cowboys were 12-5. That's crazy. Okay,
yeah.
Doug Peterson, same coach, obviously the same offensive play caller. Starting offense, Trevor Lawrence. That no one's taking his job. Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby backing him up. Your 1A, 1B is going to be Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley. Your 3 will be Zay Jones. Evan Ingram back on a 3-year deal, I believe.
$42 million.
Yeah, get yourself paid. Have a year. Have a year. I mean, don't know if he deserves it, but he definitely had a year that made him at least, have teams think about it. He did not deserve it, but here we are. Evan Ingram, contract year. Can't wait to see him fall off. Jaguars, my guys. Josh, we have 3 different. Okay. Josh, you have Trevor Lawrence. Okay. I mean, just go with the solid answer. Why not?
Yeah.
Ryan, you said literally any and all of them, but you will say Christian Kirk. We'll get to him later. Nikki, you have Calvin Ridley, who you say comeback player. I'm going to presume you're going for comeback player of the year with Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, maybe. I think so. Maybe.
So we've got the little sprinkles and teasers of him on Twitter, and we've seen videos circulating of him working out.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Calvin Ridley, after a year off, granted not for injuries or anything like that, but after a full year off from football, bounces back, no questions asked.
Well, one, I really liked Doug Peterson there in Jacksonville. When he was coming over, I said, oh, this is like a really great fit for the Jags. And I think they're just going to, just improve more and more. So I think he's going to have something up his sleeve for Ridley. I think we're going to see him kind of get back to the Calvin Ridley that we know and love. Look back at 2020, ended as a top 5 wide receiver, right? And this offense is just trending upwards. So like you guys said, it wasn't due to injury or anything like that. So I'm kind of riding high on Calvin Ridley. Would not be surprised if we see the Calvin Ridley of old, come through this season.
Fresh legs, man.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting point as well as the role he's going to fill for the team, because last year, Christian Kirk actually led the receivers in yards per reception, and that's not the role he should have been filling for the team to begin with. You would have expected it to be Zay Jones or even Marvin Jones as the big downfield threats, where Calvin Ridley, the last time we saw him play, was a 15-yard per catch guy, and the Jaguars don't have that. You are literally giving one of the best young quarterbacks in football something he didn't have before, and I'm very excited to see how it plays out. Very, very maligned on Twitter, so I was a little shocked to see Nikki pick him, but I'm glad you were here to defend it. Like, I don't get. It seems like people are just picking to pick on Calvin Ridley at this point. So.
Yeah, they are.
Like it's taboo or something, and it's so dumb. It's like, look, the dude is talented. Like, if you want to get mad at him because he missed half of 2021, you know what? Maybe everybody else needs to check their mentals. He did what he needed to do for him, and you know what? Props to him. Sucks that he was out all of last year, but you know what? Shit happens, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm all in. I love this offense as a whole. Calvin Ridley is fantastic. I think, honestly, he is the piece that truly helps unlock this offense. I mean, Doug Peterson's never really had a true number 1 wide receiver in any of his Philly offenses. Didn't have it truly last year. We know how good Christian Kirk was. I still fully believe that Christian Kirk operates so much better as a 1B or a wide receiver 2 in this offense. And we know how much Peterson likes slot receivers, and that's really what Christian Kirk needs to play. But the way that Kirk played last year can play into how effective Ridley can be, simply because now defenses have to pay attention to Christian Kirk. He beat him up last year.
Yeah.
So now you're going to leave the guy that averages 15 yards per reception wide open, who has scored however many touchdowns he scored in his career. And I found a stat from Jordan Vanek over at 3013, which I absolutely love. When you look at Trevor Lawrence from a passing touchdown perspective in college, 60% of those passes were on 7, 8, and 9 routes down the football field. 53.6% of Calvin Ridley's career NFL touchdowns have come on those exact same routes. Like, this offense is setting up to be explosive. So explosive. If Ridley is even like 70% of himself, look out.
Is he really getting a lot of hate on Twitter?
Oh yeah,
Really?
Twitter's dumb.
Well, I won't call it a lot of hate.
I mean, I'm on there, but it's like I can't with these so-called takes that are just ridiculous. Like,
it's just everyone's trying to temper expectations, and it's like nobody wants us to have fun with the Jaguars. And I mean, Josh,
Jaguars.
Well, I started with this last year where I said, as you know, he being Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson were together longer, we were going to see growth, and it happened. And I just think now a full offseason, the addition of Calvin Ridley, and let's not forget last year, if we just want to move over to Josh's take on Trevor Lawrence, they didn't use Travis Etienne in the passing game. And I think as you're going to see more passing volume, you're going to see him unlocked the same way. You brought up what Jordan brought up about Lawrence's college numbers. Well, Lawrence sure loved him some Travis Etienne in college, and I wouldn't mind seeing that translate to the NFL game as well.
Josh, you want to add anything on Lawrence?
Look, he came out to QB7 in my projections, and I only have him with 28 passing touchdowns. There's a world out there where he throws 35 plus. Like, he has those types of weapons. When you look at what Zay Jones can do, what Evan Ingram can do, if you get Etienne, and I'll even throw Tank Bigsby into that mix. And then, Ridley, Kirk, all those guys, like, he has so many weapons on this offense. I don't think 30 plus touchdowns is out of the realm of possibilities for him.
Yeah, you know what I will say though, the AFC South as a whole, and I just did this panel last week on my show. They're a really young division, right? There's a lot of young talent up and coming, and I know this division gets laughed at a lot of times and they get a lot of hate, but it's one division that I'm excited to see some of these young guys grow and come into who they are. So, but yeah, I'm high on the Jags. I don't foresee like a disaster happening. You never know, but they are loaded.
I think I think they should be a favorite for the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have a easier path. I know you were just defending the AFC South, but I will take shots at the AFC South. One of my personal favorites that I saw was the amount of people who, by the signing of DeAndre Hopkins, who I love, do not get me wrong, all of a sudden we took Tennessee from just this garbage team to now Tennessee's taking it seriously. And I'm like,
Ryan, I have a question.
Yeah.
Where did the Arizona Cardinals finish in terms of overall team record last year?
What, 4 wins?
That would be the third worst team in the NFL.
Yeah.
It would be the third worst team in the NFL.
And so I just saw a lot of tonal change from the Titans are garbage. They're going to get worse. They're going to get worse to where now I'm seeing defenses of Ryan Tannehill. And man, I love DeAndre Hopkins, but I don't think he's the cure-all. And so I'm just really interested. I'd love to see the Colts get better again as a huge Jonathan Taylor supporter, but I think that's going to take a little bit of time. And then the Texans the same way. I love everything. You hit the nail on the head, Nikki, where it's a very young and up-and-coming division. Yeah. I want to adore the Texans, but again, I think it's going to take a little time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it'll take time. Listen, I'm not a Ryan Tannehill fan. I have shit on him for years and years and
Don't worry,
years.
We're not either.
Yeah, I just like all he does is hand it off and that's it, and just everyone thinks he's great. I don't think you'll ever get there with him.
He's a glorified game manager. That's it.
Yeah.
It's almost like he played receiver in college. And it's almost like he wasn't a quarterback. Strange. Jacksonville should run away with this division. Calvin Ridley. We'll see. Derek Stingley. Scary. Who else are going to see?
Hey, Stingley was nice.
Calvin Ridley is going to eat him up like a fat kid eats up a birthday cake. Are you kidding me?
I forgot.
He is going to destroy him.
It's been so long.
Calvin Ridley is one of the most elite route runners in the NFL.
Well, I haven't been on a show with Joe for so long. I forgot that every NFL corner sucks. It took me a little while.
Ryan, name me the corners on the Titans and the Colts. There you go. That's exactly my point. It is exactly my point. Okay, but hell, I'll shit on the Jaguars. You want to know where their weak spot is? Their corners. They're not going to be able to cover anything either. So. I mean, they're gonna throw up 35 points a game, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the issues that they're gonna have is they are the best team in the division.
One other thing I want to throw out is the interesting difference in philosophy, because we are projecting and believe that the Jaguars are going to come out and throw the ball in almost air raid offense, whereas you have the Titans, the Colts, and the Texans who may not run 500 pass plays.
But you know what, though? Peter will run the football too.
Yeah, he will.
He really will. He ran a shit ton in Philly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, they're just going to be on the field a lot. So they're going to have plenty of pass attempts.
They can do whatever the fuck they want to do. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Their defense is okay. I mean,
and by the way, Joe, just to correct myself from the intro, I mistyped. The Jags were 9-8 last year. I accidentally read the Bengals record.
Yeah, I was like
on that. Yeah, the Bengals were 12.
Pretty sure the Jaguars lost like 6 straight games.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think that was correct.
There's a good chance they'll be 12-5 though this year.
Yeah, it might be this year. I mean,
you
got foreshadowing. We're on this.
Very, very true.
Yeah,
but you're looking at just again to add to how much they're going to be on the field. Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker's meh, but Josh Allen, elite pass rusher. Foye Oluwokon, best linebacker after next year when Bobby Wagner officially retires. And then Devin Lloyd actually played pretty well his rookie year.
Well, and then you look just the guys they have behind them. They had Chad Muma last year in the 3rd round.
Muma's great.
Yeah, he hasn't done a lot, but Caleb Von Chazon in the first round 2 years ago. So, I mean, they have these first round picks to where they actually have depth at this point. It's going to be really interesting to see specifically that linebacking core could be one of the better linebacking cores in the NFL.
It's just depth at the second level. Their defensive line is meh. There's no splash guys. And I'm sorry. Their secondary is not good. They could vie for one of the worst cornerback classes in the entire NFL. Tyson Campbell, dog shit.
Should make for a ton of tackles for Rayshon Jenkins.
Yeah. Trey Herndon, legitimately bottom 3 cornerback in the NFL. Yeah. And Darius Williams, notorious on the Rams for blowing coverage and getting like 25 tackles a game. Notorious for that. And you want to know who else they have? Tavon motherfucking Campbell. Remember him from 2021 with the Chargers? And I said, anytime anybody was playing Tavon Campbell, you want to play that receiver? That's that guy backing up Darius Williams.
Yeah, it's rough.
Their secondary is not good. Their safeties, Andre Sisco is solid. Not bad. Rayshon Jenkins may have 300 tackles.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to be all over the field. That's a great fantasy asset right there.
Great fantasy asset. But yeah, their defense is going to keep their offense on the field
100%.
A lot. And their offensive line is pretty good too. It's not great. It's not bad, but it is probably, I would say, low teens if you were to, look at offensive lines in the NFL. So upper half where they're going to be able to run aggressively, first round pick on a right tackle. So, great blocking tight end in Evan Ingram. So they're really going to be able to, no laughs on that one. Come on, Nikki, you're a Giants fan.
Yeah, I still hate the guy. He dropped the division against the friggin' Eagles. I don't care how good he does. I still hate the guy, okay?
He's a great blocking tight end, and I think that's why they paid him. Jamal Agnew at slot receiver, one of the best punt returners in the NFL. Dog. Okay.
Elixirs must not be in the chat. We haven't seen any Jamal Agnew love.
I know. What the hell? My sleeper is Christian Kirk, mostly because Zay Jones is like too low at like wide receiver 72. And I don't think Evan Ingram is, I'm not putting a tight end as a sleeper at all this year. I think ETN,
I think that lesson over the years. Is that it?
Yeah. Fuck that shit. So I think everyone is actually being drafted pretty fair.
Yeah,
I really don't think like Christian Kirk is wide receiver 25. I was like, okay, he's a top 20 receiver. So he's technically underdrafted.
I think everybody wants to take away from what Christian Kirk did last year. Wide receiver 12, but it was on 133 targets. That's easily repeatable if the passing volume increases, even with Calvin Ridley, even with keeping Evan Ingram involved. I personally think Zay Jones is still a 90 to 100 target guy with Christian Kirk repeating what he did last year. So I just really think there's a huge buy the dip on Christian Kirk right now because of everyone's afraid. It's funny, Nikki, I was mentioning earlier, Twitter doesn't like Calvin Ridley, but man, they sure like to use him as a tool against Christian Kirk.
Right. Yeah.
Zay Jones will be a great best ball guy because he's
definitely going to have like 2 or 3 pop games that are just going to come out of nowhere. And
Yep. My IDP, the only guy you need, Foye Oluwokon. All right. Josh Allen can kick rocks compared to this guy. All right. This man's a dog. You want to know the linebacking core? Like Ryan said, 3 first-round picks starting at linebacker position, and then Foye Oluwokon. That's how good that guy is. All right. Back-to-back years as a linebacker 1. Don't need to say much more. I normally try and give you a sleeper guy. Nope. It's just this dog and Rayshon Jenkins. All right. On to the New York Football Giants. Brian Dable comes in, makes them 9-7-1. Mike Kafka is the OC. Dable still calling the plays. Your starting offense, the newly paid Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
The newly unpaid Saquon Barkley. Potential RB1 Matt Breida. And when he gets hurt, RB1 Eric Gray. What a backfield. Isaiah Hodgins is the wide receiver 2A. It's generous. Paris Campbell.
I did the same method here with the Giants that I did with the Ravens. They're all 2s.
Scatter shot.
The tight end is the wide receiver 1.
The tight end's Waller's the number 1. Yeah.
I mean, it's bold that Paris Campbell is anywhere above wide receiver 7, but he's on the team. Darius Slayton, underrated. Okay, everyone can stop talking shit on Darius Slayton. I enjoy Darius Slayton. He is a fine receiver, okay? Still, he's not that good. The rest of the field is Sterling Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson, who is just, I mean, a gust of wind away from getting hurt.
Yeah.
Jalen Hyatt, we can't talk bad about Jalen Hyatt. And Jamison Crowder is still walking.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the leadership team's need.
he's strictly morale. You know, wasn't he just in New York and then he was in Buffalo? He's just trying to do the full New York circuit. That's all.
Yeah.
I think so.
Darren Waller is the true weapon one through the passing game.
100%.
And Daniel Bellinger, who did have some pretty solid games last year, and is a very good blocking tight end from what
and
I know
almost had
well.
his eye torn out.
Yes, literally almost had his eye ripped out of his head. So that's cool. So Saquon, Nikki, how are we feeling? What do we think? What are we feeling? Because I think he holds out.
So I said this a couple months ago. And I will say, like, covering the team, being around the team, you kind of get a sense of things, right? You know, you sit in these press conferences, you interview players, and you just kind of get a sense of, you know, the team. And there's a lot that's said and the unsaid. So I said a couple months ago, I was on my show and I just was like, they're not going to get a deal done, right? I think it's September we see him and everybody's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh my God, you're the worst reporter. You know, the whole thing. You just got like beat to hell when you have like one opinion that's different than anybody else's. And I just, listen, you take what you see, right? And being around the team, and negotiations have not gone well at all since the bye week, right? Now, if I'm Saquon, I'm probably wishing I took that bye week deal. You know, I know that, like, then he added Rock Nation on to his agency team. It's just kind of a mess. At the end of the day, I think he is such a team guy. And everybody's saying he's threatening to sit out and hold out. He recorded that podcast July 11th. And he was just saying that if he wanted to give an FU to his teammates and the Giants organization, he could sit out Le'Veon Bell style and show his worth. So it's not like he came out today and said it. I just want to make that correction, everybody, that he recorded that podcast on July 11th. So it was before the deadline. I do think we do see him play. Don't think he's going to sit out because he is such a team guy. But I don't think he's been advised really well. I am disappointed they couldn't get it done. The reports are they're about $1 to $2 million apart. To me, if that's what it is, you figure it out. So I'm not buying that. It's got to be something else. Disappointed, but I'm really not surprised. I did not think this was going to get done.
So I want to ask this really quick, because you look at their 3 running backs that were franchise tagged.
Right.
One of them, Tony Pollard with the Giants, who we'll get to here in a bit, signed the tag. Barkley hasn't. Jacobs hasn't. There's been a lot of, back and forth on Twitter about, the value of running backs going forward and, the analytics and all of this and, teams just not wanting to pay for running backs. And again, from an analytics perspective, I get it. From a talent perspective, pay the people that are worth the money. That's just simple math when it comes to
pay the jersey sales, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, exactly. and that's the thing. Like, Barkley is such he grew up a Giants fan. Yeah, I mean, he grew up a Giants fan. This is where he wanted to be all along. If you had to guess, if one of these 2 running backs, Barkley or Josh Jacobs, if one of them decided to go the Le'Veon Bell route and just say, you know what? Fuck all y'all. I'm getting paid one way or the other. If I sit out, whatever. Who do you think it would be, Barkley or Jacobs?
I think Jacobs would be the one to sit out. Like I said, I think, Barkley might feel like that right now, but once, camp gets going, his teammates are there. Like, he is such a team first guy. He does so much for the community. He does a ton of outreach. He's so community first, team first, like really just wants to be here and be part of the team. So I think that might kick in and, we'll see him play. Listen, it just sucks, right? The Giants front office and every front office is doing their job. And I can't fault these guys for wanting to get paid. Like they're want to get paid what they're worth. We all work. We all do, right? I'd love to get paid what I'm worth. But you know, I understand it. I understand where the market is. It's really an unfortunate situation for everybody. And I understand the running backs coming together and they want to be you know, solid together and sit out. It's just unfortunate. It really, really is. But you know, I'm hoping, and I think we will see Barkley, you know, at the start of the season.
Do you think he even does a game just to prove a point, a game of protest, or do you think he's just there?
Maybe one, but
that's
like
kind of been my prediction.
Yeah,
it's
I think after that it'll kick in. If he sits out one, I think it'll definitely kick in that I want to be on the field. And listen, the Giants have made they want him here. They truly, truly want him here long term. You know, but they did make it very clear, you know, they were never going CMC money. So that was never going to happen. I know that was reported. They were never going there.
I'm not surprised, and I don't. Again, you know, obviously way more informed. He's been injured.
Correct.
Why would he risk getting injured again? To then get fucked on a contract when he probably has one more contract in him as a like high end running back. He has one more contract in him.
Meaning this contract
coming in. So why would you? As a guy who's been injured and has the stigma that he is an injured running back, why would you go out and risk getting injured to then be fucked on your next biggest contract? Potentially. Now, again, could recover from the injury, all that stuff. But he's had 2 seasons of injuries. Again, that's me. You know, being a team first guy
that would make him fresher than somebody like Derrick Henry, who has like 4 straight seasons of over 350 touches.
Derrick Henry's running into the ground.
So sitting out to me is better for him long term. I don't know. I mean, at some point you have to be selfish and think of yourself, regardless of if you are a team guy. And you know, I'm sure Saquon thinks to himself he's the best running back in the league, and you know, I'm healthy as a horse. We're all good to go, but that doesn't change public perception of you're an injured running back who is aging.
And then if you go back, I think it's his most recent injury was the one where his own lineman rolled up on him, where like it doesn't even have to be anything he does that causes the injury. So
and it just. That's like Josh Jacobs, no injury history worry there really.
So I wanted to go to what Josh asked though, because I think the major difference is the Giants have the air of a team that is playing for something in 2023. The Raiders do not. If I'm Josh Jacobs, goodbye. I'm not going out there and running through a wall to finish last in my fucking division. Like that's not happening.
So Ryan, and I'm sorry to say this, Nikki.
Translation: grab all the Zamir White you can.
So I'm sorry to say this, Nikki, but are the Giants playing for like 3rd in that division? Just throwing that out there. They're playing.
What I'm getting at is, but they're coming in with I mean, I'm not saying the Raiders are coming in like we're fucking finishing 4th, but the Giants have to feel like they are a above 500 team playing for a playoff spot, chipping a chair, like. The Raiders can't feel that way.
No,
You're competing against Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and hopefully an actual Denver Broncos football team. Like it's not the same.
100%. You are going in you have to as a Giants player because you have a good team.
Yeah,
you're going in thinking, we have a chance. But again, Saquon as Saquon team guy sees that. Saquon personally has to take a step back, take the blinders off, and say, there's no way we finish 1st, and there's a really high chance we don't finish 2nd.
But I'm telling you right now, they don't think that. I'm telling you, right? They don't. I walked in there last year, and we're just asking them at training camp, like, what's the goal? What's the goal? Every single player said, we're making the playoffs, right? And one of the reporters, I won't say who it was, just really laughed in Leonard Williams' face when he said that, and just laughed at him.
That's
and I was
ballsy.
like,
That's a
Wow.
strange guy to
That's the
laugh
New
in
York
front of.
attitude, baby.
feel
they
like-
just laughed at him.
I feel like laughing in front of Wandale Robinson is
Yeah,
a
that
lot
would've
less
worked.
intimidating than
That's-
I
Leonard
would have.
Williams.
You
Yeah,
probably
no.
wouldn't have known it was Rondale Robinson. You thought it was like a guy serving
Just a
drinks.
kid.
Yeah.
Snuck in.
But so they truly and they were very serious. Like, no, the
Sure.
goal is we're making the playoffs. We could do this. No one thinks we can do it, and we're going to do it. And I have to tell you, like they truly think they can win the division. Like, it is not,
Sure.
oh, we're playing for third. So
Yeah.
that's not the mindset, and that's not Brian Dable's mindset. So I don't expect the players to think that.
Exactly.
And that's my Saquon has to. That's my if Saquon is going to take a step back and look at this personally for himself, selfishly, for his long term and his well-being moving forward and the potential to make the most amount of money, he has to look at it from an outside perspective and say, okay, yes, as if I'm here in the team, we're going balls to the wall, like we're going to try and win this division. Realistically, Philly just reloaded. They didn't add, they didn't subtract. They just reloaded. And then the Cowboys, their offense got better. It just got better. So you have to look at it from that standpoint. The Commanders can go kick rocks, but you have to look at it from that standpoint and say, as selfishly as a guy who probably wants to make north of $70 million, $80 million in a 4-year contract, you have to look at it selfishly for yourself and say, do I want to put my injured body in harm's way to then cheat me out of $20 million? That's a lot of fucking money.
It's a lot of money, and that is the other side of it. And he did say that on the pre-recorded podcast that
Yeah.
maybe he does need to be selfish and take care of himself and talk to his family about it. I just really think this team mentality, we can do it, is going to kick in. I really, really do. I get your side of it. I totally do. You know, I don't even know if I'd be that good of a person. I'd probably sit the fuck out. Like, I'm probably that selfish, right? But I just, you know, they really think they can do it. And we see with Brian Dable. I mean, they took a ragtag team. Like, I don't know who were those wide receivers. And I was covering the damn team. And I'm like, who are you people? Like, you know, doing it with Richie James and stuff. So everyone makes fun of our wide receiving room, and rightfully so. But we did get a lot faster. So we have improved. Yes. Evan Neal's going to have a much better year. Kayvon Thibodeau is going to have a much better year. Okereke is there now. You know, Wink is back. You know, we got faster, and I think we got a little bit smarter here. So I'm not going to say we're playing for third. They don't think so, and I don't think
Hell
so.
yeah. Hell yeah. Don't be like a Patriots fan saying we're going to be the worst fucking team in the league. Don't be like that.
We did a decade of that, you know, but really, and truthfully, though, if you want to compete in the NFC East, you've got to build this team to get through Philly. You've got to get through the Eagles. You've got to beat Dallas. So, you know, I think they're doing that, you know, piece by piece here. So,
and they lost both Dallas games by like a touchdown last year. It's the Eagles that boat raced them. Like two of them. Yeah.
Always the Eagles. Like, and I'm really mad that we have this Christmas Day game. I mean, destroying families left and right here.
Hey, Josh, how do you beat the Eagles? Is it on the ground or through the air?
At this point, I don't know.
Just,
I really don't.
James Bradbury will do it for you.
You have to get past. You have to get to the safeties. That's how you beat them. Like, the safeties right now are untested. I mean, you're dealing with a retread in Edmonds. The rookie back there, Brown, and there's another one that I know I'm forgetting right now. And then you just like, I mean, 2 All-Pros, Slay and Bradbury was absolutely fantastic last year. Avonte Maddox is great when he's healthy, but he was out all year.
So my point is the easy answer to that was you have 2 All-Pro corners. So running the ball might be the best way to beat them.
Is it though?
Pick the lesser of 2 evils at that point. All right.
I give up on trying to beat the Eagles. I'm like, I don't even want to watch. Like, I have to, but it's
well, you can't compete with Boston Scott. That's the issue.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
I'm surprised you guys did not sign him this offseason. In all honesty.
I know. It
Like,
is like
seriously.
career days when any Eagles, it's like, who's Boston Scott? Oh, you'll know who he is after he plays the Giants. Like career days for anybody year after
he's
year.
He's
after
our
year.
sleeper pick that week every single season.
Every single week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally get it. I get it. Listen, I'm still mad at the December 19th game. I was there. Deshaun Jackson ran a back game. Like I'm very bitter towards the
tough.
Eagles.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
yeah, it's
I
just,
still remember that game like it was yesterday. I was literally switching apartments in my complex when I was living up in Orlando. And I'm like moving a couch and I just see they kicked it to Deshaun. I'm like running back into my house, like literally just dropping the couch and running to watch the game.
I mean, my dad and I were at that game and we're like, oh my God, we won. We got this, right? Merry effing Christmas. Like, nope, disappointed, right? Just going home so heartbroken. Yeah, it was the worst.
Felt that way when Marcus Jones returned it against the Jets in week 9. That was
Yeah.
great moment. Okay, real quick, 30-second elevator pitch on Darren Waller. Ryan, I'll let you go. You've been a little silent here on the Giants.
So I tend to stay far away and tell everyone to stay far away from mid-round tight ends. But when they are their team's wide receiver 1, you
2
go
and 3.
all in. Tyler Higbee was awful last year. He was still the tight end 6 because he had 106 targets. 106 targets might be Darren Waller's floor this year. I just really think he is the weapon they're going to lean on the most. We talk about this a lot. They're going to use him as a wide receiver 1. He's going to be lined up in the slot more than he's lined up in line. I think Daniel Bellinger might actually see the field quite a bit, maybe not get utilized as much as he did last year when he was on the field, but as the blocking tight end and being able to split Darren Waller out. And it's hilarious that they're going to line him up in the slot when every fucking wide receiver on their roster is a slot wide receiver right now. So,
yeah.
But the long and short of it is chase targets at tight end. If you missed on Travis Kelce early on in your fantasy draft, honestly, Waller is my next target. I'm skipping Kittle. I'm skipping Mark Andrews. I'm certainly skipping Evan Ingram. I'm looking for Darren Waller as the next tight end if I miss on Travis Kelce in a fantasy draft.
Sleeper, Isaiah Hodgins. He is the technical wide receiver 1 on the team, and he's going wide receiver 72, which in many leagues is undrafted. So I can't be wrong, ? I can't be wrong, I think. So Isaiah Hodgins, and he had good games last year. Like he's not bad.
No.
He's not good, but he's not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah, he's not bad. I'm sure he's a
thing
great
that I
guy.
find really interesting about this Giants wide receiver core, they
Is
have
that they're
3
bad?
guys.
Oh.
There are 3 guys that are 6'3". Then you have Colin Johnson at 6'6", who I don't even know if he's going to make the team. 2 guys at 6'1", 7 guys at 6 feet or under.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, that's called the Toon Squad.
it's just unreal to me. Like,
Yeah.
Brian Dable clearly has a type.
Oh yeah, they got a thing. They got a type and they got a thing, and they're all short, fast guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they got a
And
thing.
the fastest one, Jalen Hyde, baby.
Don't big guys normally like shorter people? Like big guys, they normally like shorter people, right?
I don't. Is that a thing?
I don't know. My buddy was 500 pounds and his girlfriend's like 5'1". So that's my only equation. That's my only equation.
Okay.
That's my only equation. So
Quite the sample you've got there.
yeah, that's my sample size. It's a running joke in our friend group is that our only friend that went to Notre Dame, very esteemed, distinguished college for engineering. He now works for Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos' company. He's dyslexic. So 100% of the people we know that went to Notre Dame are dyslexic. Therefore, 100% of the people at Notre Dame are dyslexic. That's why.
Fuck
yeah.
you,
Got it. Understood.
Yeah, that's the math. I mean,
That's the math. That's the math, and that's the logic. Yep.
you can't prove me wrong. All right.
Wait, I have one last question before we move on, Joe, for Nikki. Do you think they run 6 wide receivers and Jamison Crowder's the odd man out, or do you think they end up cutting 2 of these guys?
They might cut to. I mean, Crowder. I'm not excited for him.
I think he's got to be gone.
no
when you
way
look at
I
what
think
they
he's going
have.
to be
Yeah.
gone. I just, and that's kind of my point with Paris Campbell. I mean, people, they crap all over him too, but look who he's up against. Wan'Dale Robinson cannot stay healthy. Jamison
May
Crowder.
not be ready for the season. Last I heard on Robinson. So.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey.
we're not sure. Shep is trying to come back. Darius Slayton, big play Slay. I know Eagles fans like to give a hard time about that. But the point is, like, his competition is not a lot, Paris Campbell, and he did great in OTAs. So he's developing some nice chemistry with Daniel Jones. And your point to Hodgins, we didn't get him for a full season last season. So excited to see what he can do. I met him. I hung out with him at his camp. We did a live podcast with him. Great guy. Met his wife. She's amazing. So yeah, he's just, they're all here ready to work. I love Jalen Hyatt. I mean, got to interview this kid, just so excited for him. He is getting a bad rap, and it's unfortunate. I don't know why they're saying he's arrogant. I did not get that at all. If anything, he's just kind of very grateful the Giants took him, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, and I'm ready to work. I'm ready to show everybody what I can do. So, I don't know why he's getting this bad rap and he's got a bad attitude. He's actually quite the opposite of that.
I'm a little hurt. You got an interview with Jalen Hyatt. I work with his freaking mom, and I can't even get an interview with him.
It's almost like when you write for the team.
It's almost
right?
like one person on this
Nikki,
podcast
I need your
matters.
connections.
Yeah, you are simply just a bug on the windshield, my friend.
Because I'm wearing an Eagles hat. I know. That's the real reason.
IDP player of note. Nikki actually brought it up. Okereke, Okereke, whatever. Listen, when he came into the league, it was Okereke, and then they switched it to Okereke. I heard somebody say Okereke. I don't know what it is. It's a Okereke. Bobbio. B.O. What a great nickname. B.O. He's a linebacker in the Giants defense, and they tend to do pretty well.
Yeah.
He is the best one. He'll be all over the field. And Xavier McKinney, as well as your other IDP player of note. Dallas Cowboys. Is this record correct? 12-5. Same coach, yes. Mike McCarthy. Same-ish offense. Kellen Moore is out. The elephant will now be calling the plays.
The elephant. The guy that doesn't know how to use timeouts. Yeah.
Yeah, we call Mike McCarthy. You ever play Call of Duty Zombies, Nikki?
No.
You play that game? I know Ryan has. Ryan, you know the symbol monkey?
Yeah.
That's what we call Mike McCarthy. My friends, we call him Mike the Monkey McCarthy. Okay. Dak Prescott. Really sad. Nobody laughed at my little caption underneath my name. But Dak Prescott.
I didn't even see it.
It's just a cramp, Jim.
It's just a
cramp. Tony Pollard is your new RB1. Malik Davis, for now, is your RB2. Rojo and Deuce Vaughn. It is disrespectful you put Deuce Vaughn behind fucking Ronald Jones on this depth chart.
Well,
Disrespectful. Mean.
I had to go the heightest route because that's Ryan for you.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That's only a wide receiver. I actually love Deuce Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn will be the RB2 to start the year.
I would not be surprised by that at all. I think he's absolutely fantastic.
CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 1. Brandin Cooks, number 2. Giddy Up Gallup, number 3. Jake Ferguson, tight end 1. I mean, throw any random white guy out there and you have a tight end for the Cowboys, so that's good.
Right. Okay.
Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz, Jason Witten.
Anyone.
Remember, Jerry Jones grew up in Arkansas in the 60s, so that's what we're saying. Guys, the best tight ends in the league are white. That's the only position. Okay, that's the only position.
We are bordering on defamation of character.
Are we? My guys for the Cowboys: Josh, CeeDee Lamb, Ryan, Tony Pollard. Nikki says she guessed she'll pick one, and she goes Brandin Cooks. We'll talk Cooks.
You picked the right one.
Listen, we'll talk Cooks in a sec.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb is just ridiculous at the game of football. Tony Pollard, I feel, has more question marks attached to him because his first true RB1 role with presumably not a lot of coming on and off the field, right? Maybe Ronald Jones will see some time just to give him some relief, but he's the guy. He's going to be the guy.
He's going to get spelled on first and second downs, not on all important third downs. They're not going to bring any of these guys in on third down to take his place. So he's going to be out there on very valuable downs. You're going to see a dip in efficiency. I think it was 5.2 yards per carry last year. You're going to see that come down, but I don't think you're necessarily going to see a dip in touchdowns at all. And then I was reading up on his injury today. They did some crazy new way of fixing a broken ankle so that he didn't have to have screws inserted, where essentially they I can't remember what they called it, tight-roped it or something, but they rubber banded his leg essentially back together so that it could heal naturally. And it's increased his recovery time like insanely to where he is already ready to play right now. And that's not always the case when you're talking about players who've had screws inserted. He did not have to have said screws. So I think there's a little bit of an injury scare on Tony Pollard because he got hurt on national TV and everyone thought it was going to be something way worse than it was. I think that's a dip, and I'm not saying it's a big ADP dip right now. I still think he's being drafted as a top 10 running back in the first 2 rounds, but I think there's a chance Tony Pollard sets the world on fire this year in an offense that it's interesting that you're going to hear that they want to run the ball more, but I think they already did that last year. I think you're going to see Josh kind of wrote it in the notes. I think you're going to see the same offense, and I think that's going to play very much in Tony Pollard's favor. So
Tony Pollard is going as the RB7.
Rubber banding an ankle doesn't scare the fuck out of you. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
well, it's not rubber banded
rubber band. Like that shit is not like
okay. I am not a fucking medical professional. I am not giving this anywhere near the technicality that needs to be involved in what this is. But when you go read about it, there's an article out there, and I should have brought it here so I could share it. There's an article out there that when you go read about what was done to his ankle, it's very interesting and it makes me happy. It doesn't make me sad. So
Where's
I'm
Stefania?
not scared. I think it's going to be great.
Someone gets Stefania. We need her.
Right?
Exactly.
The official diagnosis. Okay. He is going as the RB7, and this is interesting because that obviously that scare and him now taking his first full-time role. This is our first Would You Rather of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Nikki.
Oh.
You probably never played this game ever before in your life because it was invented on the show. It's called Would You Rather. All right.
Okay.
We put the player in question, Tony Pollard. We compare him to people in similar ADPs, excuse me. And you tell us who you would rather.
Okay.
Very complicated game.
Very hard.
Yep, very hard.
I
Okay.
have never played Would You Rather in my life.
I know because it was invented on this show. Word's gotten around apparently, I've heard. But put your Dallas Cowboy and New York Giants bias aside, please.
Okay. All right.
And judge equally. Now, I am going to take Saquon Barkley out of the argument because he's in question currently.
Okay.
Saquon is RB5. So
Okay.
we will just kick him to the quote-unquote curb, and we will go to RB6.
Okay.
Would you rather Jonathan Taylor or Tony Pollard? Nikki. PPR.
Tony Pollard.
Ryan, I'm going to skip you. Josh. It's Jonathan Taylor, Nikki, just so you know. It's not even close for Ryan.
I have him separated by less than 2 points. It's Pollard, but you could definitely talk me into Jonathan Taylor.
I am also a Jonathan Taylor slot, so I will be on Ryan's train of Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
Now this one gets interesting because you want to talk about 2 polar opposite running backs, Tony Pollard or Derrick Henry, Nikki.
Yeah. Gosh, the workhorse though. I feel like I go with the workhorse there.
Henry. Okay. Ryan.
I have them close, but I would go Pollard.
Josh.
I also have them close, but I will go Henry.
I feel like it's just painful sometimes watching Derrick Henry get 35 carries for 87 yards behind that shit offensive line. So
he scores 2 touchdowns. It doesn't freaking matter.
Hey, you are correct, but there are games where he does not do that. I will go Pollard as well. I just like the PPR upside with Pollard. And granted, I think Deuce Vaughn bites into a lot of that, but I will go Pollard. Tony Pollard, I will skip over Josh Jacobs as well because he is also in question. Ramondre Stevenson. Nikki, Pollard or Stevenson?
No, I think I'll stick with Pollard on that.
Brian. Are you kidding me?
It's Ramondre.
Yeah.
But my God, if Dalvin Cook signs there, I'm just going to be a heartbroken little bitch.
Why the hell would we sign Dalvin Cook? Is that
you guys couldn't even lock up DeAndre Hopkins.
I know.
You're the front
We
runner
have
now.
Bill O'Brien as our fucking offensive coordinator. Of course we can't lock up DeAndre Hopkins. He traded him for a second-round pick. He said, here you go, Arizona. I'll take that bag of Puffs Cheetos that you have on your desk, and you can take DeAndre Hopkins. That's what the trade was. He walked in to their fucking office. So it wasn't even the puffy ones. It was the crunchy Cheetos half opened in a bag like the 40-pack that the mom would bring at the end of baseball games with the orange slices. That's what they fucking traded DeAndre Hopkins for. A half-opened bag of Cheetos Crunchies from a snack pack. That's what he was traded for.
Unpopular opinion, Cheetos Crunchies are better.
You go fuck yourself, all right? That's not it.
Double unpopular opinion. Cheetos are gross.
No, that's not enough.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
Opinion.
That's an okay opinion.
Yeah.
I think they smell so bad. I can't get past the smell. And then everybody gets like
you're just
orange
disgusting
juice on your fingers.
For weeks because it's a chemical. It's not actual food you're eating.
Right.
You're telling me the Cheetos Corporation doesn't use actual Cheetos?
Yes. Delicious and nutritious.
Yeah. Definitely not nutritious. Josh, Ramondre or Tony Pollard?
This is not even close for me. It is Ramondre head and shoulders.
Yeah.
He is my RB3 on the season, and I will die on that hill.
A fucking
Dalvin Cook better not sign. That's
if
all
Dalvin Cook signs there, I will personally fly back to New England and break his kneecap so that Ramondre Stevenson can succeed.
Book it.
Okay?
Josh, we're gonna need that one in the short.
Okay.
All right, we got to get Chris on retainer for this one.
I will hire a hitman and Chris.
Whoa. Let's just keep moving.
Oh, Ramondre. Not if
Yeah.
I don't. We don't need Dalvin Cook. That's the last thing we need in New England. And we'll go one more. Just because this is interesting. Also, he's coming back from an injury. Tony Pollard or Breece Hall, Nikki?
I know. The injury is questioning on that injury. I do like Breece Hall, though. When he gets going, he's
money.
I know. All right. I'm going to go Breece Hall because I'm just going to be confident that he's going to come back solid.
Ryan?
Tony Pete?
Josh?
I do have Pollard higher, but I'm telling you what, I would probably just wait around and get Breece Hall.
You sound like Ryan. What?
Is it a full round ADP difference?
You have 11 picks.
Yeah.
So in a 10 team, yes. In a 12 team, no. But you sound like Ryan. Oh, I have Bijan ranked higher, but I'll still take Jonathan Taylor.
That's my one. I have to.
I am gonna go Pollard. I don't know. Fuck the Jets. I don't really know. Just Pollard. I'm a Patriots fan. Screw the Jets.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Breece Hall's great. Breece Hall's great.
He is great.
I love Breece.
He's fantastic. Okay. Getting into sleeper. The fact Brandin Cooks is the wide receiver 43 is stupid. So I had for the Nikki, I know you probably don't know this. For those that have watched for a while, I don't do research. I don't. Pro Football Focus can go kick rocks. I don't care unless it supports my statement. Okay. I don't care. Yep. It doesn't matter. All right.
Austin Sports Radio at its finest.
Trust my eyes.
Yeah.
I trust my eyes.
Yeah. Got it.
I trust my eyes. And my eyes told me Ramondre Stevens was going to be a fucking dog last year. And what happened? Dog. Brandin Cooks. I had to go find stats for this because it was so irritating that every show we've been on, he hasn't moved up. He's stayed in that low 40 range. This offense might throw the ball 700 times. That's not an exaggeration. Like 700 times is a realistic amount that they could throw. The wide receiver 2, Brandin Cooks, he's never finished below wide receiver 20 when he plays at least 15 games.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of my point. He's getting a massive upgrade at quarterback too.
Davis Mills, Dak Prescott,
offensively. And listen, he's always been really, really good at defeating man coverage. So the production's gonna be there. I'm in on Brandin Cooks.
The last time he was.
This is one. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
The last time he was his own team's wide receiver 2 when he was trailing Robert Woods in targets in the Rams, he was the wide receiver 15 in fantasy. So
I want to point this out because everybody likes to think that McCarthy's his influence last year, like they ran so many more running plays and they, played the clock and all this crap. They haven't added a more traditional running back 2 to coexist here with Tony Pollard. They've added another elite wide receiver option in Brandin Cooks. You now have Michael Gallup coming back now, second year from his ACL injury. And this is when these guys start to feel like themselves. Back in 2016, when Mike McCarthy had Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, and Randall Cobb.
I was just about to bring that up.
All three of those guys averaged over 6.5 targets per game. They're going to throw the fuck out of this football, and I think people are sleeping on that. I have him at 629 pass attempts, and I think I'm too low.
So it's interesting because it's not what McCarthy said, and it's supposedly the reason that Kellen Moore
There's a
is
reason
not there.
It's called coach speak, Ryan.
Yeah,
I
but
believe no coaches ever.
This was literally why he was firing a guy. Like, I don't think he's like, I can't remember his exact words, but essentially he's like, I understand where Kellen's coming from, but we can't throw the ball every time. And so like, you feel like that carries some weight, but then when you go look at their run pass numbers last year, they didn't throw the ball all the time. I think they were 19th in pass attempts. Like, they were already low last year.
5 games.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Is so like, I don't know that it's going to be as bad as others are thinking, but I think you might be going too far with it, Josh. I don't think it's
ask
gonna be
yourself
that
this.
good
You literally said that Tony Pollard is going to take a step back in efficiency when he's averaging 3.7 yards per carry, and they can't.
He's not going to take a 1.5.
What the fuck do you think is going to happen?
He's not going to take a 1.5 yard step back in efficiency.
Hypothetically, what if he does?
He's just not. You're not going to go from 5.2 to 3.7. He's going to be a 4.4 carry guy. He's going to have probably 300 carries, 1,300 yards.
You think Tony Pollard is going to have 300 carries this year?
We played this exact same game, and I understand he didn't hit 300 carries, but we played this exact same game with Austin Eckler that he was never going to hit over 200 carries. He is back-to-back seasons over 200 carries. Tony Pollard is not as slight.
How far over 200 carries?
201.
Pull that up. 201, 203. Like,
was that
300
was that right?
carries is a fucking leap, bro.
Oh,
300 touches. 300 touches.
Should have brought my popcorn. Yeah, this is
I know.
nice. Usually I'm the one arguing on my show. So
Nikki, same. This is great. This is awesome.
Normally it's not me and Josh.
Always in the argument. Always me.
Look, I like Tony Pollard, but thinking he's going to touch the ball 300 times this year, I'm not buying that at all.
What did he touch it last year? 230 times last year. Yes, I will say he is a 300 touch back.
Are you guys betting on this?
He's over 300 touches.
We'll figure something out.
I would agree with that. He's over 300 touches if he had 230 last year. Okay. Now I can end the show arguing with myself, which is my favorite thing to do.
Oh, great.
It's not really arguing with myself. It's more so yelling at Jerry Jones for being a moron, because it's just a lot of fun. So my IDP player of note is Micah Parsons. Now, I don't think there's going to be any backlash on that, because he's pretty damn good. When I look at this entire defense, I firmly believe they are the worst defense in the division. And I really don't think there is much competition there. So when you look at that, I'm trying to pull up all of the Dallas Cowboys first round picks that I had up earlier, and I got it here now. So when you look at their defense as a whole, DeMarcus Lawrence in his 30s has not played well outside of his contract year. You have Leighton Vander Esch, injury prone, meh linebacker, can't cover. Trayvon Diggs bites into routes like a chubby kid bites into a birthday cake. Stephon Gilmore, old. Just simply old. Donovan Wilson, I'll grant you that. He's good. Okay? No more. He's just a good safety. Malik Hooker, okay, solid. Jordan Lewis, dog shit. They don't have great linebackers. Their second cornerback is old. Outside of Micah Parsons, they can't rush the passer. Now, granted, you don't really need anybody outside of Micah Parsons to rush the passer. But if you're going to double team Micah Parsons, nobody. Osa Odigizua is not sacking the quarterback off the opposite side of Micah Parsons. It's just not happening. And what they did is they spent a first-round pick on a defensive player, right? Makes sense. They needed help on the defensive side of the football. You know where they went? They went to a defensive tackle from Michigan, Maisie Smith. Don't even know if that's how you pronounce his name correctly. Remember the last time they took a Michigan defensive player in the first round? It was Taco Charlton. Taco Charlton had 4 sacks for the team in 2 seasons. Taco Charlton.
That's not good, right?
Ryan, that's horseshit, actually. That's terrible.
Good. I mean, it's great, actually. I mean, I think it's
it's great for Giants and Eagles fans.
Listen, you may be asking yourself, But hasn't Jerry Jones hit on his first round picks? You are 100% correct. Jerry Jones has hit on his first round picks. You want to know the 2 he hasn't hit on since in the last decade?
Yeah.
One of them is Taco Charlton. The second, about to be this motherfucker. The jury is still out on Tyler Smith. Okay? The jury's still out on Tyler Smith from last year. I'm not going to count anything. They've had a Pro Bowler as their first round pick every year since 2013. Morris Claiborne, 2012 is the last guy you got to go back to. They didn't have in the Pro Bowl. And before that, Tyron Smith, Des Bryant, Mike Jenkins. Jerry Jones has been fantastic at drafting recently. His issues, Michigan and defensive linemen. All right? His linebackers have been great. Felix Jones was his only miss on the offensive side of the football. He's been money on that side of the football. But when you look at what he's done on the defensive line to scout in the round 1, it's been Marcus Spears, Taco Charlton, and now this guy.
Yeah, it's rough.
They don't have a good defense. You want to know why Dallas is throwing the football 750 fucking times this year? It's because their defense will be on the field for 2 plays every single drive. They can't cover. They have one guy to rush the passer, and they can't stop the run. You drafted Maisie Smith when you have Neville Gallimore back there, who has been consistently one of the top half defensive tackles in the NFL. Why would you draft a defensive tackle? That makes no sense. That doesn't make any sense.
I think the talk when they drafted Smith was simply, we need to stop the run better. And he was the best one of the best run stoppers in the draft class.
Oh my God, come get it. Doesn't fucking matter. Literally, it's not going to matter. Okay. Unless you're Aaron Donald or Vita Vea, your nose tackle and defensive tackle, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay. Dexter Lawrence, Quinnen Williams, we can add them in the conversation as well. But he's playing nose tackle. Jason Kelsey's going to eat him for fucking breakfast. All right. He's not going to play well. It blows my mind that that's where they went. And the rest of their defense is horseshit. Trayvon Diggs, the aura has wore off from him. Okay. Yeah. The aura's gone. Stephon Gilmore's old. They can't cover. They don't have a good run defense. This team's going to be 12-5 again. They're just going to have 700 points allowed to their 701 points for. They're just going to be 1 point better than the other team every single game. That's all it is. So it blows my mind. This team is going to be so good on offense because their defense is so bad. Dallas will have a bottom 5 defense in the NFL. Bottom 5 defense. They might be top 3 in points against. As in top 3 on the wrong side of points against. So
I'll take it.
I know you Eagles and Giants fans
right?
love that.
Music to my ears. So.
Love it.
You want to know how far back I went just to prove how bad Michigan defensive ends fucking suck for this team? Kevin Brooks, 1985, 12.5 sacks in 4 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys. Did Jerry Jones draft him? No.
I don't think he owned the team in 85.
Yeah. Did Jerry Jones draft him? No.
But
I don't care.
There's something in the water that just...
Something in the water. Hey,
yeah, sometimes it feels like Jerry Jones just can't get out of his own way.
No.
We
know where we need to draft Michigan players. It's in the 6th round at 199th overall. That's where you draft Michigan players.
I don't know. Aiden Hutchinson's looking pretty good.
Well, no, and that's the thing. That's another thing. It's crazy. Michigan players have been pretty fucking good in the defensive side
until
of the
they get to Dallas.
Until they get to Dallas. You have Daxton Hill last year, Aiden Hutchinson, Kwity Paye, Rashawn Gary, Devin Bush, Jabril Peppers, Brandon Graham. You want to know the one outlier from the 2010s that sucked? Taco Charlton.
Is that the word of the night?
You want to go back to 98?
I don't know, but now I want some tacos, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Leon Hall in 2007. They've had good defensive players. Jerry Jones can't find them. So he's going to suck. There you go. And the last question that I have been told to end on, and I'm very interested because I feel like she's on the not popular side of this, is Team Ranch and Team Blue Cheese, Nikki. Because I feel like if the question needs to be brought up, you're on the not popular side, but I do want to hear.
Team Blue Cheese. Ranch
you
is
are on the not
vile.
popular side. Okay, there we
Ranch
go.
Is vile. And I do not understand that anybody who likes it. People are dipping everything in ranch, like fries,
that's gross.
fucking pizza. I'm sorry, but if you're putting ranch on
ranch
pizza,
on a pizza is A1.
you have shit
No.
pizza. Okay, like it must be
That's
a West
facts.
Coast thing. Like I don't know. Everybody I get on my show.
It's a Southern
I've
thing.
done this.
I was gonna say, yeah,
It's a Southern thing.
You probably have good pizza down in Jersey. That's a good point. Now I'll fuck with the chicken, bacon, and ranch pizza, but I'm not putting ranch on a regular pizza.
No, yeah.
If you're getting a slice of cheese pizza and putting ranch on it, you're a criminal and deserve to be.
I do
a
that shit all the
child,
time,
you're like a
man.
4-year-old.
Bagel bites, fucking pizza rolls and ranch all fucking day,
No.
baby.
No, what?
Hell yes.
No,
That's
no.
disgusting.
Ranch
That's
is
awful.
amazing. Ranch
Now,
is awesome.
ranch with wings and fries, fine. Anything else, kick rocks.
Yeah, I don't do it either. So what's funny?
I just don't understand the obsession with blue cheese. It's fucking moldy cheese.
It's delicious.
Gross.
And
Have
not
you
just
seen-
every wing
Blue
goes
cheese is
in
good.
it. It's like every few wings go in it. And sometimes good wings, you don't need anything. But if I had
There's
to pick,
There's a meme out there where someone was having this exact debate on Twitter, and every single person who answered blue cheese, the same girl commented, blue cheese has mold in it. And I'm talking an entire chain of like 1,000 comments. And she just every time was
Just
like,
kept going.
blue cheese has mold in it. That's all she said to
Love
everyone.
it.
So I brought this up to my wife. I've actually never had blue cheese in my entire life. I don't even know what it tastes like.
really?
I don't go reaching for the ranch either though. So I'm a neither in this situation.
So-
I'm no fun.
To hop off this and end the show real quick, Mike is asking where you draft Pollard. Mike, he's currently going in a 10 team. He's the last pick of the second round. In a 12 team, he's the 8th pick in the second round.
I was
So-
gonna say I'm fine with grabbing him at the if I'm at the turn and I know I'm not gonna have a pick for a while. I'm
Yeah.
fine with walking out with Tony Pollard. So.
Yeah.
Mike, if you're sitting in the middle of the second round, odds are Pollard's there for you unless you're playing with a Cowboys fan.
True.
But if you are at the wrap and you really like Pollard, as Ryan said, you have 20 or 24 picks until you're up again. He's not going to be there. So take Pollard. Personally, double up on running backs. But
Take Jonathan Taylor and Pollard.
take Jonathan Taylor and Pollard, and then odds are, hey, fucking Ramondre
Take
Stevenson. might be there
Ramondre
in the third round.
Stevenson at
Yeah.
310.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Idiots. I literally can't wait.
And
Could
Keenan
you-
Allen at 4-1, Joe.
I got my draft spot in my 10 team. I'm at the 5th pick. Fucking love the middle of the rounds.
Yeah.
I legitimately might walk out with Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, and Ramondre Stevenson. Just cause I fucking can.
'Cause
And I'll
everybody's
draft
gonna go
Keenan
wide
Allen as my
receivers,
wide
yeah.
receiver 1. Just cause I can.
Yeah.
But yes, Mike, he will definitely be there late first if you really want him. If you want him on the wrap, that's fine. He should be there in every league currently, end of the second round. So you're totally fine there. Nikki, one time, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at NikkiNick9384. Lots of football content. I will be covering Giants camp, so we're gearing up for that. Taking a small little break before we gear up next week for madness. I know so many of you are DMing me about Saquon. I'm sorry I don't have an answer, but it's
Just direct them to
fine.
this show, Nikki. We've got
I will. I'll just
timestamps.
send them here.
Perfect.
Like subscribe and like for you guys. Like just come and check it out. No, but thank you guys so much for having me. I got some new things coming in the works, so everybody stay tuned for that. I appreciate you guys. I had such a great time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Absolutely.
coming on,
Blast,
Nikki. We
Nikki.
appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Look inside, full swing. Calvin Ridley up. Daniel Jones is up. Dak Prescott is on.
Damn, I did
the
not
way.
change that either. Son of a bitch.
Wow.
Other way around.
I'm
Jack's out.
slacking today.
Daniel Jones
Yeah.
on Friday.
There you go.
God, aren't you a script writer? Shouldn't you be on top of this shit?
Yeah, I have editors for a reason, damn it.
Aren't you one of the editors? Make sure you
In
subscribe.
fairness, Ryan's the editor here.
That's fair. Pocket Like It's Hot Mondays at 11. Summer School, our new best ball show. That's news to me. I literally haven't been here in forever. Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. I have Discord on mute. Herstory in the Making, also on BSN. New episode drops on Tuesday. Who's Your Caddy, Tuesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Dynasty After Party with an awesome special guest host because everybody just decided to take Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern off. I'll be there. So,
Love it.
oh God, what a
chaos will ensue.
We're talking
it's gonna be
dynasties,
so
same teams.
Yeah.
Hour of Maisie Smith. 1 full hour.
Oh, everybody
Amazing.
tune in for that.
The Taco Charlton special episode.
Yeah.
1
apparently.
full hour.
Just one
Oh.
monologue. That's it.
Can't. Hour-long monologue. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Let me get the writers who on strike to write that for me real quick.
Yes, ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah. I use Bard. Google's. Bard has been nicer to me. ChatGPT has
Okay.
been thinking too much.
We can't have that.
We can't have the AI thinking too much. No. For Josh, Nikki, Ryan, myself, you can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. Always remember, defense wins championships, offense wins fantasy football. We will see you